50 years behind the glass. 24 platinum records. Voices like WhiteSnake and Anita Baker built from the ground up. Now, one coach is proving what the industry already knows: feel beats mechanics. Every time. And he's handing that insight directly to you. Here is Brad Chapman, the Vocal Absorption Coach. Welcome to the stream.
Hey, have you ever tried to cover a Bruno Mars song or any contemporary song? You hit every single note perfectly. You had great pitch, great tone, and yet when you listen back or others listen back, it just sounded wrong. What's wrong here? It sounded boring. Boy, I've been here. It sounded like you were reading from a phone book rather than telling a story. And that's when you introvert, when you're thinking about what your voice is doing, the words are coming out, but there's no emotion there. Or maybe you're on the other side of this. You've never taken a lesson. You're a beginner. You've never opened a DAW. You hear Bruno Mars. Boys are going to sue me for that one. I could never do that. It's like, I don't have the training. Well, you can do it, and I'll show you how. So you don't even need to try, is what you think. Here's what both of you need to hear. You're stuck in the same trap. The trained singer sounds correct, but lifeless. We've all heard that. The beginner thinks they need years of mechanics just to start. They're afraid of better get vocal technique, and I'm not against that. But neither one is learning the thing that actually makes Bruno Mars sound like Bruno Mars. It's feel. It's not perfect technique, and we'll prove that. This is the single biggest frustration I see in singers today, plus talking. At every level, we're obsessed with correctness. Am I speaking perfectly? We're taught that if we hit the right pitch at the right time, hey, we've done our job. And if we can't hit those pitches yet, you get the high note, we think we're not ready. But to learn feel, we are. But when we listen to a track like I Just Might, we're hearing something that goes far beyond correctness and far beyond what any scale exercise will teach you. Hey, I teach them, and I know what they can do, and they're great, but they won't teach you feel. We're hearing a feeling when we listen to Bruno. We're hearing a very specific, resigned groove. What does that mean? Well, there's a happy feeling to it, but there's also something that he's resigned about, and we'll talk about that later. Most vocal coaches will tell you to practice your scales. I might be one. Work on your breath support. That's important, and those things have their place. But they won't help you sing something like I Just Might. I've spent 50 years figuring that out. Or most other contemporary songs, and they definitely won't help a beginner understand why Bruno sounds the way he does. Because the magic of this song isn't in the technique, it's in the absorption of emotion. That's where it's at, people, emotion. Today we're going to try something different. Whoa! And you don't need a single hour of training to follow along. We're going to stop analyzing, that's where we get in trouble, and start absorbing, that's where emotion and feel come from. We're going to use two simple tools to prove this: Melodyne and then Audacity to learn from. Not to be engineers, we're not pushing that, but to be mirrors. We're going to look at the rhythm you can't hear because you didn't know it was there, and we're going to learn a technique called perfect unison that will change the way you practice forever. That's where you're going to be a great singer, learning from the greats by perfect unison. Whether this is your first day singing or your 10,000th, I've done that. I'm going to show you how to stop singing at the song and start singing inside the song, where the emotion is, where the story is. By the end of this session, you won't just know how to sing I Just Might. You'll know how to borrow the soul of any artist and admire it. Filter it through your own voice. This is about moving from technician to artist, from outsider to artist. The destination is the same. Let me show you how right now. All right, so we're going to bring my guest in to help us learn this. His name is Tony Silva, and he's this good-looking guy that just popped up on the screen, saying hi to you, and he's not being obtrusive, he's just being friendly, right? So this is a process that I'm going to show you how. It's called the Vocal Muse system, and also it's called Sing from Feel. So we're going to cover how do you learn from these great artists, and then how do you produce what they're producing, which is great feel. And Tony's here to help us understand, and he's here to laugh with me because we love to laugh at these shows. If you're bored and you don't have anything to do, just check out our humor. It's pretty good. All right, so the first thing we need to talk about is what is perfect singing. Well, most people think perfect singing is perfect pitch and perfect rhythm based on theory from the colleges. That's not what Bruno's doing. And we're going to prove that so that you can open your mind to what Bruno is doing. So the first thing we're going to look at is sheet music, because that's where everything is written down, perfect pitch and perfect rhythm. There's just a little bit of a process here, so don't get impatient. Hold on. All right. So now you can see what I'm seeing, the sheet music. And let me put it up on the stage. There we go. Now this, in writing, explains perfect pitch and perfect rhythm. So you can see here these notes are perfectly written, and the rhythm, if you understand how this works, is perfectly in place. But if you don't read music, that's okay, because I'm going to play it for you. This sheet music has a piano on it, and it's quantized. So this is perfect pitch and perfect rhythm. So this is what the part of the song that we're going to learn today sounds like with perfect pitch and perfect rhythm. Check it out. Okay, I'm going to play that for you again. Does that sound anything like Bruno Mars?
That sounds perfect.
You're right, it does sound perfect. Boy, I'm so glad there's somebody in the room that knows what's going on. Okay, so here it is again. And you can see the words there. All right, so that's enough of that. I mean, it's not wrong, believe me. It's just not right for what we're working on today. And again, people think about perfect pitch and perfect rhythm. Now I'm going to bring Bruno's picture back up on the broadcast here. And then I'm going to play the part of the song that we're going to work on today. So we're just going to work on one phrase, because any more than that is just going to boggle everybody's minds. So here's Bruno actually singing the part that I played on the sheet music. Check out the difference. Think, what does the sheet music sound like, and what does Bruno sound like? Here you go.
Here's the part where I turn you all the way around, round, round, round. Put some spirit in it, put your heart into it, that's all I...
Okay, so it's different, huh? I mean, it's like night and day. So think back about any voice lesson you've ever had, or any voice lessons that I taught, where a pianist came in and started playing the sheet music, and we're trying to learn what Bruno does from that. Didn't work. And we didn't have any option, back in the day when we lived in shacks that were made of wood and log cabins. There was no heating, and we had to walk through the snow. There's a big difference in today's world. It's called the 21st century. And we're going to be using those tools today to not only prove our point, but to also help you learn. So the next thing we're going to bring up is melodyne, and we're going to actually see with our eyes what we just heard. So it's really cool. This is something that was not available a little while ago. And the other thing is called a stem splitter, where I was actually able to bring up Bruno's voice all by itself, so that we're not hearing anything but Bruno, and we're not seeing anything but Bruno. And there's two things we're going to look at. One is pitch, and the other is rhythm. And he's in eighth notes. There is a 16th note section in here, but we don't really need to worry about that. Anyway, let's get back to what matters here. So we need to take a look at these orange blobs. These represent pitch. So between top and the bottom of this area that goes from left to right is pitch. And you can see here that this pitch is not perfectly in the middle. So what does that mean? Well, when I actually play that pitch all by itself, we can see up here in this little box here that he's plus 10%. Now, for some reason, you can't see this because you're on your phone or whatever. Believe me, it is what it says. It's 10% sharp. Then the next line is even sharper, 27% sharp. This note right here is like really flat, 33% flat. And this one's sharp again, and this one's flat again. Now, there's no plan to this. It's just the way it came out. Sharp there, flat there, way sharp here. I mean, almost 50%, right? Now here he's on pitch. Hey. So we're not saying the guy doesn't know how to sing on pitch. He does. And these little lines here are something that's a little hard to explain, but they help you see that there's more going on here than perfect pitch and perfect rhythm. And this note going up to this next line is right, all, and then that's flat. This one's pretty close, just before he goes up to what you consider the climax of this line is pretty on. Now, let me play exactly what we just tried to listen to. One note at a pitch. One note at a time, excuse me.
Put some spirit in it, put your heart into it, that's all I
mean, it sounds great to me because we're used to hearing this kind of singing. But what we want to make sure we don't do is assign it the concept of perfect pitch and perfect rhythm. Now, rhythm is up and down, is vertical. So right here you see he's late coming in on this one because the gray tells us that he's late right there, that space. Here he's right on, but he's right in the middle, so he's right on here. He ends pretty much right on it. Here, right on the beginning, pretty much right on at the end. Late here, on here, late here, early here, way early here, especially with the sibilant. This is a little bit early, late here. These lines, again, are really hard to explain, but they kind of tell us that things are happening there that we can't really quantize. This is early, and this line is late. So again, you won't be able to hear all that as I play it because we expect when we listen to a great song that everything is perfect pitch and perfect rhythm. But if we listen to it again with this knowledge, we understand it's perfect for what Bruno's doing. It's just not, quote unquote, perfect pitch by music theory standards or by the classical standards that voice teachers still impose on us.
Put some spirit in it, put your heart into it, that's all I...
Okay, so all that's great. But hey, Brad, how do you learn it? And this is where Tony's going to really help us out. He's going to be the student. He is my student, and he's also my guest today. And we're going to now move on to what's called Audacity as the software. And this is where we really can figure out and make it our own what Bruno's doing. Because everything I've got talked about so far, if you can't learn it from Bruno, you can't learn it because all we could see was it was erratic on Melodyne. We couldn't see actually how to learn it. The term that I've used in the introduction here is absorption. We have to absorb what Bruno's doing. So I'm going to play it again with the music, and I'm going to let you hear it just 2 or 3 times with the loop feature here, just to kind of hear what it's like in the original tempo. And then we'll show you how most of us are making a mistake and have been making for most of our lives. So go ahead and just tune in, everybody, and just listen to what's going on here. One phrase.
Put some spirit in it, put your heart into it, that's all I... There's the power,
repeat.
turn you all the way around, round, round, round. Put some spirit in it, put your heart into it, that's all I... There's the power, turn you all the way around, round, round, round. Put some spirit in it, put your heart into it, that's all I...
Okay, so now what would Tony have done a year ago if he wanted to learn this phrase? What would you have done, Tony? How would you have gone about trying to learn it?
Oh, I'd be sitting in my car playing it over and over and over and over,
right.
listening to it, and then trying to sing along with it and memorize it at the same time. And to get it all the way through would probably take me about 3 or 4 days.
Right.
At least.
Yeah, because there's so much information to absorb. And then when you were singing along with Bruno, could you really hear what he was doing?
No.
And that's the issue we're going to discuss at this point. So Tony's going to be a great guy. So be sure and tell him in the chat what a great guy is. he's going to be us before he learned this, and that's not a very nice thing to ask him to do. But he's a great guy. He'll help us out. So Tony's going to sing along with this, and he really doesn't know it. You do have the lyrics in front of you, right?
Oh, I do not.
Oh, so you might want to get the lyrics of the bridge. There's not very many of them, but we'll wait. Give us a second here. This is worth it. I know that everybody is so slick on YouTube and they want to get you in and out and show you all these quick little things, but this takes time. This takes artistry. We're talking about artistry here. We're talking about something that makes an incredible entertainer incredible. We're not talking about quick fixes. Bruno Mars is not using quick fixes. When he writes songs, when he plays songs, when he works with great musicians, they're not quick fixes. They're not using auto-tune. They're not trying to cheat the system. They're trying to create great art. You about ready, Tony?
I am ready.
Okay. All right, so he's just going to sing along with this line, and he doesn't know it, and that's what we do, and this is why we're going to show you it's a mistake. It's not a big mistake, but it is a mistake. Here we go.
There's the power, turn you all the way around, round, round, round. Put some spirit in it,
I've specifically put one section of this in as an introduction.
I'm looking for it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I can't find the specific line.
It's in the bridge. It's at the end of the bridge. Of course, that probably doesn't tell you that in the lyric
Spirit in
sheet.
it, put your heart into. Okay, got it.
Okay, so the part, is put your heart into. That's the part we're actually listening for.
Okay.
The round, round, round is just an introduction to that. Okay, here you go.
This the part where I turn you all the way around, round, round, round. Put some spirit in it, put your heart into it. That's all I. This the
Okay, so just as like you were in the car, Tony, go for it.
Okay.
This the part where I turn you all the way around, round, round, round.
Sorry, what?
I just wanted to listen to the line one.
Oh, okay, sure.
This the part where I turn you all the way
I think he's learned now, listening.
Put some spirit in it, put your heart into it. That's all I. This the part where I turn you all the way
I'll explain why the word need is missing in a little while.
Put some spirit in it, put your heart into it. That's all I. This the part
One more time, go for it. Let us hear it.
Put some spirit in it, put your heart into it. That's all I.
Okay, right. So he's close, right? Because he's a very experienced singer. If he was a beginner, he'd be way off. Some of us would be more on, some of us would be more off. But the point is that trying to sing with Bruno at the same time we're masking him. We can't really hear the details that we're going to work on. The details that make Bruno an incredible artist is not just pitch and rhythm. There's a lot going on, and that's why we only select one phrase with an introduction to that phrase. So how are we going to learn this? Well, we're going to slow it down. Now, Tony's a tenor, so he can do it in this key. But let's say that you're a baritone or you're a woman singing and it's too low in his key. Well, with this software, you can change the key. And I strongly recommend it, especially if you're a beginner who doesn't have much range. You can put this in any key you want to make sure that you're comfortable singing it. Make sure you're not straining. If you need a vocal coach to get your technique, I'm not against that by any means. I teach it. But when you work on this type of thing, you can't make this difficult. You've got to make this easy to sing, and you can put it in a key that's going to be easy to sing. And that's another reason for doing one phrase at a time instead of the whole song, because the whole song might have an octave and a half in it. You may not have that much range. But this part here only has not even a half an octave in it. Now, I want to point out, before we do this, something that Bruno did that was so cool that a lot of people wouldn't think of, is he doesn't sing the word need. So as he gets to the end of that phrase, you hear he just kind of cuts out. The word need is there. That's what's kind of throwing Tony a little bit. But this was a live performance he did at the Grammys. So he had other singers there with him, and he wanted to improvise over this, so he left the word out so that when he came into the next section of the song, that he could do whatever he wanted. So it's okay to leave out a word if you've got a reason for it. It wasn't a mistake, right? So in this case, we're going to leave the word out just like Bruno did on purpose, understanding why it was left out. I've done enough listening to be able to tell you that. So the biggest thing here is to slow it down, because what happens is two things. When we're hearing someone this great sing, we're very entertained by it, and we're thinking, okay, this is really cool. I'll just sing along and I'll be good. But like we talked about, we're missing way too much information. We need to know exactly what Bruno's doing and how to absorb it so that we can do it ourselves. And then we can make our own craft with it. Believe me, this is not about becoming Bruno Mars. I mean, certainly we're celebrating him here. We believe he's great or we wouldn't have chosen him. But we're not trying to be him. We're just trying to learn from him. So this riff's going by fairly quickly. So the percentage change I'm going to use, you can see the box. Oh, let me put it up on the stage. You can see the box here I'm working with. And all this is in my video program. So anything that you missed today, because I'm not going to go on for 8 hours, you can get with the Vocal Muse Suite. You can get all this information, exactly how it works, the logic behind it, what we're trying to do. This is strictly a demonstration. So based on my experience, I'm going to go down minus 35%. So you'll see the numbers change to minus 35. So the idea is we're going 35% slower than the original tempo, so that we can hear exactly what's going on. So I'm going to apply that. That will change these bookmarks right here. I'll put those on. Now, Tony's learned this system, so it's nothing new to him, but he's going to demonstrate for you what he should do and what has been working for him. He's going to listen. He's not going to sing. Yeah, I know. I know that's hard to do. Most of us just want to sing, no matter what. But if we want to be great singers, we got to listen first. The great musicians will back me up on this. Great record producers will back me up on this. You got to use your ear, man. I mean, you just getting involved and just doing is not working. All right, here we go. So we're all listening very carefully now to the details of how Bruno sings this. Now we consider this the introduction. This is the part we're learning. And blank. On purpose. Listen for details, everyone. Okay, one more time. So I don't use the video on this because that's a little bit intrusive royalty-wise. I'm teaching, so this is legal, but he was dancing while he was singing this. Okay, so that has a lot to do with why it sounds the way it sounds. His body is moving, therefore his voice is moving. You can't disconnect the two. I mean, you can assimilate it. I mean, you can simulate it. You can like say, okay, I've done this for many years. I can kind of just stand here and do it, and I'll get rhythm. But rhythm is one of the things that creates the rhythm in the vocal we're hearing. The dancing rhythm creates the rhythm of the voice. So it's a little bit hard in that respect to get it exactly right. But what things did you notice, Tony, that you might have missed at the original tempo?
His choices in pitch are a lot more obvious. I was using kind of his flat a little bit more than I expected. I'm also kind of noticing a little bit of a like jumble mouth going, put some spirit in, it's just sort of mumbly almost.
Yeah.
And
it's his swagger, man.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely like the feel of what he's doing is much more obvious now. And the way he accentuates the word heart.
Mm-hmm.
It just jumped right out.
Yeah. Heart.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like to bring up is that when we were talking about the myth busting, we're talking about perfect pitch and perfect rhythm. We also have teachers out there telling us we should have perfect diction. Well, Bruno does not have perfect diction in those rules. Like, put your heart into it. He's not doing that because he doesn't need to. He uses a microphone in his living. So he doesn't need to project the way you do in musical theater. So musical theater has its rules, and they're right. If you don't do what they tell you in musical theater, no one can understand what you're saying. That mumbling will not work. But with a microphone, and if you want to pull up this performance at the Grammys and you watch all the other artists just going along with Bruno, just having a great time, nobody's picking him apart, going, oh, he has perfect pad diction, oh, he's flat here, oh, he's sharp there, oh, did you hear that? He pushed the beat there, he pulled the beat there, he's wrong, man, he should be right in the groove, The only reason I'm so strong about this is because I've been dealing with it all my life. It's just wrong. You have to separate the genres. Classical has its rules, musical theater has its rules. Bruno Mars has his rules. Bruno Mars is the king. You can say he's wrong if you want, but it's not going to help you. If you want to be in his world, if you want to perform at the Grammys, if you want to have hits in the top 10, you got to follow these rules. Not exactly, because country's a little bit different than soul's a little bit different than R&B is a little bit different than ballads are a little different. So yeah, you want to learn all these things. And so, just learning from Bruno is one very small part of all this. Okay, so we've talked enough that Tony's probably forgotten what he heard. So we're gonna So we're gonna let him hear it twice, and then he'll start singing along. Now his goal while he's singing along is to create a what, Tony?
Unison.
Okay, what is a unison? Tell everybody.
Okay, two voices coming together. You're singing to match up along with the first voice, and you are able to accentuate and sound the same way, so that it becomes almost one voice instead of two separate voices.
And when you achieve that unison, what happens?
I'm sorry?
When you achieve a unison like that, what do you feel? What changes?
Oh, when you accomplish it?
Mm-hmm.
It's the eureka moment. It's, holy crap, we got it.
I'm sure you've noticed this. Sometimes it kind of feels like your voice disappears too.
Right.
It's like, wait a
I
minute.
thought you meant emotionally. Sorry, I got excited.
Yeah, no, but I mean your voice. No. When you're singing along with a unison, it's kind of like, where'd Bruno go or where did I go? And actually, you can experience both at the same time. Like, where'd they go? Because you become a third voice. And this is outside the purview of today, but that's the same thing in harmonies, guys. When you sing harmony with someone, there's a new color that's trying to be created. And if one singer is dominant in the other, usually that color will not be created. So you have to be listening for that color. When you're creating that color, you know, hey, I got it. If you're not creating that color, you're missing. So that, but again, we're not going to teach that today, but just another little sidebar here. Okay, so Tony's going to listen twice and then start singing along. So again, he's showing you what you'd be doing with my Vocal Muse Suite. And we'll talk about the emotion and sing from feel a little bit right after this. So hang on there. We're going to talk about sing from feel. Okay, Tony, go for it. Second phrase. So, a lot closer than it was before. Is that tempo good for you?
Yeah, I mean,
Do you want to slow it down more?
If you
Or?
wanted to pull it back a little bit, it would be kind of cool. Yeah.
Slow it down a little more?
A little bit.
Okay.
Thank you.
So if you're using Audacity, you go into Edit and you undo the tempo change. That puts everything back to 0, and then when you put in the new tempo change, it's not affected by the old. All right, so we were at 35. We'll go to 45.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This is all about learning. I mean, sometimes I've taken things to 65, 70%. Because we can't, certain things are happening so fast that they can't really be absorbed at a faster tempo. So this is not cheating in any way. This is learning.
You know,
All right.
there's, if you don't mind, just one other thing I sort of just picked up. There's a casual tone in this, like, this is my buddy standing right next to me telling me, hey man, do this way so that it's going to, you know, there's a really intimate, casual thing going on in this line. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, he's singing, he's feeling it, man. I could probably say that 1,000 times and maybe people would still not understand it, but he's feeling emotions and then he's singing those emotions. We'll talk about that next. So do you want to hear it one more time before we record you?
Please.
Okay. All right, so then we'll explain why we're going to record it next.
It's the power, turn you all the way around, round, round, round. Put some spirit in it, put your heart into it, that's all that. It's the power, turn.
Okay, so we're going to record so Tony can hear where he's on and where he's a little bit off. Because, again, while you're singing along with someone, it's hard to hear exactly what they're doing. And you can't try to catch up with him because then you'll either be early or late with Bruno. So it's like, yeah, and that's where absorption comes in. But let's record it, and then I'll explain what would happen next. Here we go.
It's the power, turn you all the way around, round, round, round. Put some spirit in it, put your heart into it, that's all that.
All right, excellent. So we're listening back now so that Tony can hear, without singing, where things are on and where things are a little bit off. Now what you're seeing me do here is Audacity has this funny little thing where after you record something, you have to change the volume of it. That didn't come up very much. Let me check what happened there. Let's do this again. Volume and compression.
This line is all
There
feel.
we go.
It's all feel.
Oh yeah, yeah. Nothing's predictable. Nothing fixed. There was no plan made. Those are all the things that other teachers would like to make you think. There's no groove. There's no pocket. Now the guys in the band have to play in the pocket. The drummer has to play in the pocket. But there's still a feel. Even inside that pocket, there's a feel that can't be processed through the intellect. It has to be felt. But Bruno is free to play with that, much more so than the other musicians. And they're all envious anyway. Okay.
Too.
Okay, so, all right, so here Tony's going to be listening. So this is what you'd be doing. You'd be listening, practicing a little bit, and then recording. So listen back to what you did. Oh, something was off. There you go. I don't know what happened there, Tony.
Latency.
There shouldn't be any. Let me double check my settings, but I got what was set up. I mean, we're not talking about latency. We're talking about like two different rhythms entirely. You were like 4 or 5 beats.
Datency.
Datency, yeah. There we go. All right, so let me line this up here. Make sure that everything is highlighted properly. That might have been the problem. All right, here we go. Recording again.
It's the power, turn you all the way round, 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 round. Put some spirit in it, put your heart into it, that's all that.
All right, that'll do it. Okay. Maybe I clicked on something. Everybody be aware that when you're dealing with this kind of software, you might click on something that you didn't think you clicked on, just like everything else, and then all of a sudden everything's whacked out. So sometimes you just have to redo, which is what we did. All right, listening to see so that Tony can hear where he's on, where he's off. Here we go.
Put some spirit in it, put your heart into it, that's all that.
Of course, he's going, ah, ooh, ah, ee, right? Because we all would, right? You know. But, you know, we have to set our egos aside and say, well, this is not performing. Of course, we are in a way. We're doing this live for you guys to ask questions if you want. And then, of course, it'll be out for people to listen to later on. But what's important here is that now Tony has a sense of what he just accomplished, where he was a little off, where he was a little off. Now, the next section of this we won't do. Tony would go back and listen some more. At this tempo, listen, absorb what Bruno's doing so that he doesn't have to try to hear and match Bruno. He just already knows what Bruno's going to do, so he's just going to sing it and it's just going to match up. That's something that we will be adding on to our demonstration later on in our shows, but we can't do it today. The next portion of this is for Tony to sing it his own way. So what we do here is, of course, we remove this track that he recorded, and then we're going to mute Bruno. We can do this with stem splitters. And again, that's explained in it's not explained in the Vocal Muse Suite because it wasn't available at that time. But with the stem splitters now, we can isolate voices and do what we did with Melodyne and what we're doing right now. Just look them up. They're everywhere now. They're an AI development. All right, so here we go. Tony's going to sing it a couple of times just himself without recording to get a feel for it. And check it out. This is how we learn. And this is really fast compared to other ways that we've all tried in the past. And Tony and I have been around long enough to know what works and what doesn't. Here we go. He's got to get the feel of the music. Let me put Bruno in for just a moment. Good. Tony knows where he is now, so I'll mute Bruno. Okay, so now we use multitrack again so that Tony can hear what his artistry created and make decisions on whether he wants to continue in that vein or not, or what he wants to change. But we all heard that he didn't sound exactly like Bruno. It wasn't like he made a whole new riff out of the thing. I mean, we're not trying to do that, but there were subtle differences in there that show that Tony has a different opinion about this than Bruno does, and that's what we want. Here we go. We're recording. So that is where the sing for feel concept comes in. And Tony's been studying that with me for a while. So again, he can just kind of throw it out there where a couple of months ago he wouldn't have been able to. But now he can because he understands the concepts. And the book is will help you learn from any artist how to express emotions. So we're going to amplify him so we can listen back. So here's Tony doing his thing. Let me put some reverb in there for you, Tony.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So here we go, reverb. And bring this down so you don't sound like you're in a swimming pool. All right, here we go.
Put some spirit in it. Put your heart into it. That's all
So now imagine Tony's really rehearsed this thing, he knows the whole song, the whole story, and he's out there moving and dancing, and man, that would be great, right? And this is a little bit, have you done much of this kind of music, Tony, where it's mostly rhythm-based?
Not quite this deep into the pool now.
So another thing that we're noticing, and it's easier to hear in the slow motion, is the way Bruno is attacking the rhythms. So even though he's, did you say mumbling just a little bit? There's still an attack, dun, 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 right, to emphasize that feel, that rhythmic feel. And when I've worked with singers who've not been taught this, and all they've done is ballads and legato and all that kind of stuff, this is really hard for them, and it's particularly hard if you've never ever danced this kind of music. You don't have any feel for what's going on here. Bruno's lived his whole life, so that makes it a lot easier for him. Tony's lived it partially, but now he can understand even more so why Bruno sounds the way he sounds. And he can put his own feel, his own emotions behind this. Now, the book covers how to record, how to get rid of stage fright. All of these things that we're doing, as Tony will attest, build confidence. His wife called me the other day and told me some really fantastic things about his performing. Tony, tell us what happened.
Well, out of the gate, I have a couple of friends in New York that I grew up with, and they come out once in a while. And the last time they saw me was, I'm going to say about 6 months ago, give or take, 5-6 months ago. And they came out last week, and we went out, and they came out to a gig. And they're talking to Madeline, and they're telling her, what is...
Can you get closer to your mic?
Oh, yeah, sure, I'm sorry. Yeah, what is it that he's doing? He sounds so much different. He sounds so much better. Oh, my God, this is great. Oh, and I'm feeling what he's... so they noticed the big difference since just the last time they came out to Vegas to see us. And it's been happening more often, even with people that I haven't seen in maybe a month or two. They'll come out, they'll see us. And their acceptance of how I'm performing is much more open. They're warm up to it. They're responding to it much more. They're feeling it more. They're saying it. They're giving me some really wonderful feedback because of it.
And one of the things that Maddie mentioned is they always thought you were a really good singer.
Yes.
This wasn't like, he went from bad to good. They thought he's a very good singer.
Right.
But now what's happening is because Tony's feeling something, that gives his friends something to feel that wasn't there before. Now, I've worked with great artists who already knew how to do this, and I can't really tell you why they didn't know. In fact, they don't even like listening to their own recordings. They don't. They're like aghast, like, I did that, oh my God. But they know people respond to it, and so they do it, and they love doing it. So I put together a system that actually teaches you how to do this so that you can move from that, hey, I'm okay, I'm a good performer, I'm all right, but people are not applauding yet, they're not giving me standing ovations. I mean, they're applauding gently and nicely. That was very nice, thank you very much. Yeah. So, and they're tipping, 50 cents instead of $10. And just it's a different emotional experience. And I've been doing this long enough, and I've worked with enough singers who've made this change. They've all come back and said, my God, I can't believe the difference. It won't make you a star. It will give you the tools to be in that peer group, to be able to produce that same kind of emotion that these people perform. But that won't make you a star. That's a whole nother issue. One that I don't pretend to try to sell you, because that would be crooked in my experience. So, but the becoming a peer of Bruno Mars, being able to create the same kind of emotions, the same kind of response, maybe not at the Grammys, but, at whatever gig you're doing, people are coming up and saying, wow, that was really a great performance. I love hearing this, obviously, because I created this system. What can I tell you? I'll close this with kind of a little speech that I prepared, but basically I want to say that if you're not doing this is okay. It's not hurting you if you're not doing this. But if you're not doing it, if you've got competitors out there who can feel how to do this without this kind of a system, which they do exist, they're going to bury you. They're going to go on to stardom, and you're just going to be back there going, what happened? I've been performing just as long as they have. I rehearsed just as hard as they did. What happened? Well, the artists that figure this out, they have what we call great ears. They're able to hear it at real tempo, at real time, and they've had the experience, and they know what to do. And so we just sit back there and go, oh my God, that's an incredible performance. So we went through this pretty quickly. Please put questions in the chat. That's why we do it live. Otherwise, we could do a pre-recorded version with all my ums and everything being removed, and any word that I didn't say properly, we could fix. But we want to do this live for you so that you can ask questions. So I'll give you just a second. Any questions, anyone? Just pop it in the chat. And personally, I think,
chat at the moment.
Okay, and I think you should say something nice to Tony. I know I'm paying him $10,000 a moment, but who cares? He wants to know how you feel.
Let me see. Comments.
Yeah, there's nothing yet.
Okay, nope, we're clear.
Yeah, actually, I decided to open that up. All right, so any last-minute questions on your mind, Tony?
The only thing that really popped in was as you were talking about how people are singing this style a lot more often with that, put your spirit in it. I guess really I think I'm answering it for myself, but I guess really the only thing is just to go and really listen to much more of this particular genre to pick that up and get the understanding of it from, a personal aspect.
Yeah, that's where I humbly withdraw.
Right.
I can't teach you that.
Gotcha.
And I could do it myself and match Bruno up and get that and say, look, this is how you do it, but you wouldn't learn anything from that.
Right.
You might be impressed with your teacher, but
I am impressed with my
teacher. Well, thank you, but I can it can't be taught. I know there's voice teachers out there that sing like the stars, and then they say, do what I tell you. But until you've done the unison and matched that up, and you've got that feeling of, hey, I nailed this thing, you really aren't going to have that confidence.
Gotcha.
It's really cool for a teacher to say, hey, you did that really well, but it's super cool to actually be able to verify it. So yeah, I'm glad Brad said I did that really well, but now I've verified it for myself. So one of the things that Madeline mentioned that some of your friends said that your entire body English is different on stage.
Yeah. Well, I could tell you just from the way I feel, I'm not thinking so much when I'm performing. I'm singing. I'm feeling what I'm singing. I'm reacting. My body's reacting to whatever it is that I'm feeling. I'm not thinking, oh, should I move this way? What is the next note this? I'm just, I'm making sure I have the songs in my head. I have my lyrics in my head. My chord changes are in my head. And then it's just kind of almost autopilot. So it's happening naturally.
And how does that affect your confidence?
Soaring compared to what I was 6 months ago. And I was never afraid, really. Well, in recent times, I wasn't afraid to be performing. I wasn't afraid to be in front of people. But I was always a bit more self-conscious. Now I'm just sharing.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, it's just sharing. Cool. Because you didn't come to me with the stage fright issue, but some people do.
Right.
And this is one of the ways to fix it, is to get that feeling of, hey, I'm good. I prepared for this. I know I'm not sure everybody will love it, but I prepared for it. I've done it well. I'm going to do it really well. So you're still going to have some nerves, but a lot less, right?
Right.
So you can't get this from vocal technique. I spent most of my life working on vocal technique, teaching vocal technique, till about the last 20 years. And then I decided that emotions were king, if you want to use the royalty system. And they are, you know. I mean, you can win Grammys with technique, but it's pretty hard. If you can't get that audience to stand up and cheer and go crazy when you're singing, you're probably not going to get that far on the Grammys, unless you've got great political connections, which does exist in that world, just like any other world. All right, so let me just kind of tell you what we've covered over today and what your options are as far as learning more about this. Here we go. So, hey, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've looked at the invisible rhythms in Melodyne. So, you know, we didn't know he was pushing and pulling beats, did we? Until we saw it for ourselves. We thought he was perfect rhythm, but he's not. We've practiced the perfect unison method in Audacity. You saw Tony do that, and you saw the results of it, and then you saw how it helped him create his own art at the end. We've broken down the emotional colors of I Just Might. That's the name of the song, I Just Might. And we talked about what does that mean? How's he feeling? You know, how can we learn from that? But remember, these are just tools, the software. The software doesn't make you an artist. Just ask a record producer or a record executive who's tried to use autotune to make artists. You make you an artist. The artistry gap, I call it, is that space between knowing the notes and feeling the notes. And that's what Tony just talked about. He knew the notes before, but he wasn't feeling the notes. Now he's feeling the notes. Most people spend their whole lives trying to cross that gap. I've seen singer after singer that try to cross that gap with scales and exercises. If I could just hit the note, then I would have the feel. No, it doesn't work that way. So the truth is, the fastest way across this gap is absorption, and that's the listening we talked about. If there's anything you learned from this experience today, take listening. Even if you don't slow it down, listen. You know, when it's on the radio, instead of starting to open up your mouth and start singing, if you're serious about this, listen, listen, listen before you sing. Because this is about listening deeper than you ever have before. That's what Audacity will help you with. It's about being humble enough, we talked about that, to blend your voice with the greats, you know. Like, don't think that you're better than Bruno Mars, because you're not. I mean, if you want to be his competitor, maybe you are, but if you want to learn from him, then you can't have that attitude. It's about realizing that perfection is boring. We talked about, you know, introverting makes you boring. Emotion is everything, man. They'll pay for emotion. They won't pay for boring, old perfection. So if this approach resonates with you, if it works for you, if you're tired of being a beginner or a good singer and you want to become a great singer and artist, then I want to invite you to go deeper with me, and that's what you'll do with the book and the video program. I've used my 60-plus years of experience, the same wisdom that guided Whitesnake, REO Speedwagon, and Anita Baker, and it earned me over 24 platinum records. I've condensed it into the Vocal Muse Suite video program and the Sing From Feel, Unleashing Your Authentic Voice ebook. In that program and book, we don't just look at one song. I mean, what we just, I don't even think we touched the tip of the iceberg on this thing. I mean, there's so much information in just what we looked at today. You can spend days just reviewing what Bruno did just on that one phrase. So in the program, I give you a complete roadmap for your voice. I teach you how to master phrasing, how to control your tone color, and how to find your own unique sound, like what Tony did, by standing, not being afraid to stand, but standing on the shoulders of giants. Not thinking, oh, I got all this figured out, and these great singers are just punks. Stand on their shoulders, learn from them. So I teach you the mental frameworks that the pros use, and that's not one of them. I mean, there's some pretty arrogant, you know, pros, but they don't get that way being arrogant. They get that way later on. You know, and I teach you how to produce yourself so that you can listen back, record. You know, it's very simple what we did today. It doesn't take a lot of recording experience. I teach you how to close the gap between what you hear in your head and what comes out of your mouth. Tony, talk about that for a second. Like, okay, you sang and you heard what was in your head, and then you listen back. What's the difference?
That's where I become critical. In my head, I hear just whatever almost deeper tone is going on in my head and all the resonance in my skull. But when I hear it played back, it's a different person almost sometimes. And of course, I'm probably like most singers. I listen to myself and I just instantly cringe because I'm like, oh God, I don't want to hear my own voice, you know. But being able to, now taking that out of the equation, being able to actually hear it back and listen to what I thought I was singing.
Yeah, there you go.
As opposed to what I was singing.
Right.
What is the part where I really kind of am able to see it clearly enough to say, well, okay, well, this is definitely not a spot that I want to work this way. I want to fix this so that it sounds a little bit more this way. And oh my God, that was a really good spot. I want to keep that. And you know, okay, maybe a little pitchy in that spot, or maybe, you know, maybe not as comfortable as I want to be. So it becomes my tool once I stop being afraid of it.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, you're giving your brain a chance to hear what's happening because you're not singing.
Right.
When you're singing, you think you know what you're doing. And I'm not saying you don't, just saying that it's amazing how it's different. So the more you guys do this multi-tracking, you know, sing, match with Bruno, whoever, you know, the more you listen back and forth, the better you'll get at all this. The more you'll understand reverb and how it helps you and so forth. So in the chat box, which no one asked a question in, but it's there, you'll see the links. And in the description, on the YouTube description, you'll see the links to these two processes. So, you know, click to check out the ebook. You know, there's a lot of information there. Click to check out the video. Don't let another year or day go by just practicing scales, because it's not going to, I mean, do it, but don't make it the only thing you do, right? Start practicing artistry along with it. This is what we're talking about, practicing artistry. Start practicing decision making, you know, like Tony just said. I hear it, I listen back, I think, okay, maybe I'll change this, maybe I'll change that. Then I'll go back and do it again, and eventually I'll be happy. Tongue in cheek with that comment, with what I'm hearing. You know, but the main thing is to make other people happy. This is really not about making us happy. But, you know, hey, I mean, it's kind of a resigned groove, and what I mean by that is the rhythm and the words contradicted themselves a little bit. But the next resigned groove should be yours. You know, make up your own stuff, do your own thing, be an artist. Use these tools, you know, you absorb the greats, and then show us, hey, who are you? Show us who you are. I'm Brad Chapman. This has been an Artistry First Breakdown. Thank you for watching. Now go out and make some noise. You know, so that's kind of the end of that. But, you know, we'll still say hi, bye, and we loved having you here today with us. Please subscribe so that you'll know when the next show is going to be, because I can't tell you. But with the subscription, you'll know. And YouTube loves us more if we have subscriptions. It says, hey, we'll promote you. We're not a quick fix. This is not a quick fix program. It's not a quick fix book. If you're looking for fast answers, you're in the wrong place. But if you're looking for stardom and how to become one, not actually be one where you're making all that money and all the fame, but be one where you sound like a star when you sing. That's what people were saying to Tony. My God, you're starting to be somebody I'm really listening to. I really want to hear more of that. I want you to do the song I love that way, so that I can hear this great emotion in this song that I love. Yeah, he's going to be humble now, but it works, man. The tips go up. I've seen this many, many times. The ticket sales go up. The price of the ticket goes up. Everything goes up when you start producing emotion for the average audience.
Jar changed a lot too, just FYI.
Yeah, and it made me think, you know, Maddie said, well, you know, I may go out and listen to Tony again this week. She said, you know, and you can hear with that professional ear, you know, what's going on. But, you know, I told her what Tony's friend said was almost more important than what I say. Because I'm a little bit influenced by my professionalism. I'm a little bit influenced by my technique experience. And I might miss an emotion that the average person wouldn't miss because they don't have anything else on their mind. They're absorbing. So, you know, like songwriters say, I don't know if I have a hit until I put it out there and see how people respond to it. Same thing with your emotions. Put them out there and see what happens. Be brave, man. It works. All right, thanks again, everyone. I'll just put my little face here at the ending so you can hear a little music and see what Brad is kind of about when he's just sitting there smiling. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Brad.
You bet. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you, Tony.